Love is the good we all search for, and yet we have different conceptions and misconceptions about what it is. Ambivalence about how close we want to get to it. Doubts about whether we can achieve it or even deserve it. Some of us repeat futile patterns with intimates, mates, and children to the point where we may question whether we are capable of close, satisfying relationships at all. At times it feels as if the shadow of our parents hangs over us like a fate we cannot elude. And we wonder, how much do our childhoods, and especially the quality of our first loving bonds, determine whether we can get love right as adults? When my son was 2.5, I saw a slightly older boy, perhaps 3, fall off a slide in the playground and bloody his lip. He stood, threw his arms in the air, and started wailing. But he made no effort to approach or attract or even look toward his mother, who was sitting nearby on the bench. She promptly retrieved him, though, and sat him on her lap. The boy continued to wail miserably, his body stiffly unengaged with hers, such that one might have thought he was being held by an unwanted stranger. The mother, meanwhile, rummaged through her bag looking for a tissue, all the while lecturing in a non-stop, mechanical, somewhat irritable way that seemed strangely disconnected from the boy struggling in her arms. The child's cut was eventually attended to, but it seemed clear to me that his emotional needs were not. His mother held him with his lower body dangling awkwardly, and she never paused to respond to his cries with a cuddle or a kiss or a loving gaze. Rather, she kept up her strange stream of muttered comments parallel to his cries. I have heard people in therapy say, "The only way my mother could show love is when I was hurt or sick." But his mother seemed unable to show love even in the case of injury, and I felt sure the pain of not being heard and responded to was greater for this little boy than the pain of his cut lip. What causes a parent and child to interact this way? What impact does the parent's emotional coldness have on a child? Did this boy's panicky response to his wound and his failure to approach his mother or even look at her throughout his ordeal reflect his expectation, based on prior experience, that she would not be available emotionally?